school.
Welcome to Diaries of a Healing Latina. This is going to be a safe space where we talk about the parts of healing that no one really prepares us for. In today's episode, we're going to talk about turning 30 as a single Latina without a child in a Hispanic household. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel that turning 30 as a single Latina without kids, without a boyfriend, with absolutely none of the family essentials that you need to grow your own family is as stressful as your parents being scared that you're going to get pregnant during high school right when they see that you got a boyfriend. I feel like that's the level of stress you experience because you hear it from your parents every single day that you should not get pregnant while you're in high school. But now that you turn 30 and you're single with no kids, they also, well, at least not my parents, but there are family members you hear that tell you, you should start dating, you should start meeting people, you should look forward to getting married, you should want to have kids later on. And in your mind, you're just like, I'm still that 16-year-old girl that was terrified of getting pregnant back in high school. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed, sweetheart. So for me personally, my parents don't put that stress on me. They don't stress me out on go find a man or go have kids. They've never put that stress on me or ever even pushed me to even move out of the house because I still live with my parents, by the way. And I love my parents for that because whenever it's my time will come when I find my person, if I ever find them, and I'll have kids at my own time. Right now, at this moment, I don't want to have kids. I want to get a couple things in order and then later on have kids. And that's perfectly fine. And my parents are perfectly fine with that. But every time I go to Colombia, which is my home, I always hear it, especially from my family members that live there, that I'm already getting old and I need to start dating. I need to start, trying to find my person. I need to also start getting ready to have kids because I'm getting older. And to me, it's like, okay, but this is the way that I'll explain it. Here at home, I don't hear it. I don't hear you should get married, you should go have kids, you should do this, you should, all of that. The Hispanic family essentials. That's what I'm going to call it. Okay, that's what I'm going to call it. I don't hear it. So for me, it's like, okay, we're chilling. But then I go to Colombia and I start hearing all of these things like you're getting older, you need to freeze your eggs, you need to figure out when you're going to have kids, you need to start dating and try to find your person, and you need to look forward to getting married. You can't be saying that you don't want to be married and you need to have kids because at the end of the day, we all need to build a family and da-da-da-da, like you should not end up alone. And it's like you're hearing this nearly every single day that when I get back home, it's almost like here at home, I feel like I have the noise cancellation headphones on. And then when I'm in Colombia, I take them off and I hear all the sounds going outside. And when I get back home, I put on the noise cancellation headphones. So for a second, I start thinking, and my mind, I feel like it thinks every single second. So it literally goes like a mile per minute. As my mind is working, I start thinking of everything that my family said, and then I start asking myself, how come I have not found someone? Like, how come I still don't have kids? How come I'm not married? I'm not even close to married. Like, I'm behind. I'm this, I'm that. And the reality is that 1, I'm not behind. 2, I'm not old. 3, whenever it's my time, it's going to be my time, point blank, period. And the last time that I went to Colombia, I explained to my mom that when I got back, I literally fell into this ball of anxiety because I was like, dude, I started thinking to myself, and I'm going to freaking be like, damn, like I am getting older. I am behind in life. Like I should already be dating people. I don't even know why I quit dating in the first place. I should freaking try to figure out how I'm going to freeze my eggs in case I never find anyone, and then I have to find a solution and figure out if I'm going to want to have kids on my own. My mind just went off, and at that moment I had to literally hold myself, ground myself back to earth and be like, Jamie, this was your choice. You decided to quit dating because you kept going back to the same toxicity that you kept going back to. You kept dating the same red flags. You needed to figure yourself out, and you needed to start loving yourself before you actually go back out there and try to love someone else. Because at this moment, you're not emotionally available. And that's the truth. And when it comes to growing in a Hispanic household, especially seeing family members that got married and created their own families, that for us as women is a priority because that's how we grow up. When we're children, we're taught that we need to go to school, we need to graduate, we go to college, we choose a career, we graduate. Then after graduating, around that certain time, we have to meet the love of our lives. Then we have to get married by the age of 25 to 28 because that's the ideal age of getting married in the Hispanic society, especially back home, which I don't even understand why. And around the age of 29 to 33, you should already have like 1 to 2 kids. Those are the real expectations of a Hispanic household back home. Not here in the United States, back home. Okay, back home. I feel like that topic for me is so sensitive because I've heard it ever since I was in high school. My first boyfriend, and the reason I broke up with him, it was for that reason. He grew up in a Hispanic household just like me, and for him it was like high school, college, marriage, kids, and the woman's supposed to be a housewife. And the woman's supposed to cater to the man and the kids. And that's not the way that I perceive my life. And I'll never forget this. My ex-boyfriend, he was like, after you graduate high school and you go to college, we're going to get married and you're going to have kids. You're not going to work. I'm going to work and I'm going to provide. And I remember looking at him and staring at him like, you're fucking crazy. That's not happening. Mind you, the day he told me that, I didn't say a word. I didn't even argue with him. In my mind, I was already plotting. I was like, clocked it. I clocked it and I was like, I'm breaking up with you the moment you graduate. Because he was older than me. He was 1 year older than me. Right after he freaking graduated and he went off to college, bitch, I broke up with him so quick. So quick. I was like, phew, broke up with him. He didn't even see that coming. He was not even expecting that. And he couldn't process why I had broken up with him. And in my mind, I already knew. It was like, because you're already plotting on my downfall. You already told me what you're going to do. Like, you're not even going to let me live my life. You're going to get me pregnant. And you're going to basically put me in a prison inside a house and not let me out the house. My dream, by the way, ever since I was a child, was to travel the world. If he would have approached it a different way, you know what? After you graduate, we're going to go travel the world. We're going to enjoy ourselves. We'll probably get married. And right after we get married, then we'll see if we have kids. But you're telling me that I'm going to be a housewife and my only use to this world is to pop kids and freaking keep the house clean and serve the food when you come back home from work? Most definitely not. Most definitely not. And one thing about me ever since I was a child, because I was raised by my father, it was don't let a man maintain you. Always make sure you have your own money. Always make sure you have your own things. And that's what I learned ever since I was a child. So if he really thought he was going to trap me, I got out right on time. Let's clock it. Let's clock it. And you know what? Once we start talking about my dating life, I'll start talking about all of the men that wanted to get me pregnant because they wanted to trap me. That's something that's really not spoken about. And I'm going to bring awareness to that because the ladies, we need to stay awake. And I guess ever since my ex-boyfriend and then growing up and listening to my family members like telling me how important it was to get married and have kids and, you know, the whole 9 yards, I grew some anger towards it and I grew some resentment towards it because I understand there's certain family members in my family that's their dream to get married and have kids, but that was never mine. That was never mine. My dream ever since I was a child was to travel the world. That's my number one goal in life. And you know what? If I find someone that's willing to travel the world with me, enjoy life with me, and whenever we have kids, it comes when it comes, I'm 1000% for it. But you forcing kids marriage on me and becoming a housewife will never work out because I'm against it 1000%. I believe that I need to work, I need to have my own earnings, I need to have my own thing, my own life, something that I have like control of. For me, a man needs to add to my life, not take away from my life. And if I'm married to someone and I have kids, it's not their expectation for me to take care of the kids only and to take care of the household, but also it is expected from them as well. Because if I'm sick, if I'm tired, if I need rest, I'm expecting that other person to get up and pick up my slack and vice versa. And for me, I guess that's why it's like so important to find the right person. And I understand my family members not wanting me to stay alone for the rest of my life and being afraid that I won't have kids. But I've already thought about that. I've already accepted if I don't find my person, I want to personally do an artificial insemination because I do want kids. Not right this second, not next year, maybe in 2-3 years, but if it comes to that point, I'm willing to do that for myself because I want kids. And I've already prepared myself for that mentally. Now, the thought of doing an artificial insemination was a very hard pill that I had to swallow because I'm like, damn, like at that point, if I haven't found someone, then I feel like it's a me problem. But the truth is I'm also not willing to settle down for anything less that I feel that I deserve. If I find my right person, great. And if I don't, that is perfectly fine because I have plan B. And plan B is to freeze my eggs, have my own kids, be a single mother, grind for my children, and that's pretty much it, you know? I think that growing up in a Hispanic household is so stressful and it's so much because it's not only the fear of women getting pregnant during their teenage years, but then if they don't get a boyfriend or a husband by a certain age, then it's also a problem. Then when it comes to certain religious beliefs, then it's also another discussion. I think sometimes being Hispanic is a little stressful because it's like you have to juggle between and there's a certain mindset that you have to keep up with. And if you grow up a different way from that different mindset, it's almost like you're going against your family. And growing up in a Hispanic household, one thing that we're always taught is family is important. Family is the number one priority on this planet. And disappointing a family member, especially one of your parents, is the worst feeling you could ever feel. So I know that right now, just because I don't have kids, my parents are not saying anything. But if I were to never give them kids, it would definitely be something that they would bring up later on because at least my mom has vocalized the fact that she does want grandchildren. I feel that if I don't give her grandchildren later on in life, it will definitely be something that, you know, would somewhat hurt her ego because I basically stopped part of our generational line. And a girl's just trying to live, you know? Let me say one more thing. To the ladies that are in their 20s thinking that they're behind or thinking that 30 is old, I'm still a child at heart. I'm still a child in my mind. I'm still the teenage girl that I was a couple years back, a decade ago. Like, I've grown up, I've healed, but I haven't fully grown up. You get me? So it's like, And that's another thing. Right before I turned 30, I was so freaking scared of turning 30 because in a Hispanic household, turning 30 is old. Turning 30 is like you're turning 80. Because it's basically seen, like, especially as a woman, turning 30 as a woman and you're single and you don't have kids, There's something wrong with you in a Hispanic household. That's the mentality. It's not, oh, she's healing. It's not, oh, she's working on herself. It's not, oh, wait, she's focused on her career. No, there's something wrong with her and nobody wants her. That's the literal mentality, because I've heard from men in Colombia that I'm already too old to date. That I'm already too old to date. I'm only 31. Okay, I finally this past year accepted that I'm in my 30s and that I'm not old, that I'm still young. Okay, I finally accepted it. And you know what it is for someone to tell you that you're too old to date? I'm sorry, I'm not willing to lower my standards for absolutely no one. Not today, not tomorrow, not never. Okay, if you are not within my standards, it's a no. Because I didn't come this far just to get this far. I didn't do all of this healing for you to come ruin my peace and my healing journey. I've been single for 2 years. And you really think I'm going to allow a man to destroy my peace just for the art of it? No, absolutely not. I'm going to quote my girl Monet because I love her. Right before she started dating Jalen, she was asked, do you see yourself dating? And she said, in order for me to settle down with someone, they have to pour into my life, not take away from my life. And when I heard her say that, I was like, you are so freaking right. You are so right. Why am I going to sit down and allow a man to take away from my life instead of pouring into my life? Relationship, it's two, it's not one. I'm just going to say that. But with all of that being said, turning 30 is stressful. Turning 30 as a single, motherless Latina is even a lot more stressful. I feel like you bring stress not only to your aunts, but also to your grandparents, to your parents, to your siblings, to absolutely everyone you bring stress to. You get pregnant in high school, horrible. But if you don't get pregnant by the age of 30, also horrible. So whatever path you choose, it might be horrible, but fuck it. Do what you feel like is right for you. If you're afraid of turning 30, do not be afraid of turning 30. These are actually the best years of your life. I'm 31, and this has been the best year so far. I've been at peace. I've been focused on myself. I've been doing everything that I wanted to do. I finally got the courage to travel a lot more and to travel by myself. I'm freaking focused, working out, living a healthier lifestyle. I'm just doing me, doing things that I like. And for once in my life, I'm not worried if another person's cheating on me, whether they like me or not, whether I'm good enough for that person. I'm worried on what I want to do for myself and how I want to improve my life. That feeling right there alone, 20 out of 10. Highly recommend to everyone. Never in my life did I ever think that I would be living the life that I live today. Never in my life did I ever think that I would quit dating and I would focus on myself. Never in my life did I ever think that I was going to actually learn how to love myself, that I will learn how to appreciate myself, that I will learn how to pour into myself. Yes, we get into these relationships and we get into these habits that are basically toxic to satisfy our family members without really learning to value ourselves. If it were up to me, I would have been pregnant years ago. I would have been a single mother years ago. I would have married the incorrect man for my life that I thought was the man for me. I would have settled down with a man that lowered my self-esteem. And because he lowered my self-esteem, I thought that he was the best man that I could ever date in my life. That could have been me if I were to be pleasing my family. At some point, especially growing up in a Hispanic household, we are taught to please our family members, especially our older family members. So if you're single, you turn 30 with no kids, you're not married, you're not dating, you're not behind. You're right on track. You'll find your person. Yes, it is freaking scary at times because you're like, will I ever find my person? But your person will come in at the right time. The time that God has for you to have kids will come. The time that you're going to make your family happy with a grandchild, with a niece, with a nephew, they'll be happy. If right now you want to be selfish for you, that is 1000% okay. Being selfish for yourself will take you very far. Because yes, you might be selfish, but at least you're doing it for you and you're not doing it to satisfy other people. If you just turned 30 and you're scared or you're terrified, don't be. These are the best years. And everything from this point forward is just going to get better. If this story resonated with you, I would love for you to subscribe so we can heal together. Thank you so much for watching and see you on the next episode. Bye.